Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I'm your host. And joining me this week are two incredibly special guests, Amanda and Chris Provost from Provost Park Pass. How are you doing, guys?
Oh, that's such a good introduction.
Thank
Jimmy.
you.
That was so good.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
Well, good. I like we talked a little bit before the show here because I had to hit record it at some point because otherwise I was going to talk to you guys for a long time and I was going to be like, we should probably record something. But it is such an honor to have you both on the show here today. I am someone who is somewhat of a theme park enthusiast, and I know you guys are as well, and I have just fallen in love with your channel as of late, and I appreciate it, and it's just so cool, and I wanted to have you guys on to talk about all that stuff, but also maybe talk about a few things you don't always get a chance to discuss on yours. So let's just start with you guys, Provost Park Pass, where did that even begin with? How did that even start?
Sure. Well, before we get to that, we just want to say we're so honored to be asked to be on your show. We love it. This is great. So
thank you. You're gonna make me blush. You're gonna make me blush.
Well, no, we're like, wow, this is awesome. So Provost Park Pass, babe, you want to talk about how we got started?
Yeah, so we started just a little over 2 years ago. So we're pretty new to the YouTube world. And we were living in California at the time. And one of our good friends, he is a director in LA. His name is Brian Little. And he came to us and said, you guys need to do a YouTube channel. Do something that you love. What do you love? And we both love Disneyland.
Well, yeah. We'll get back up. So he's like, do a YouTube channel. And so we tried to do like a vlogging, this like people do, like vlogging about their days, and I hated it. I felt like everybody. I was like, this is so horrible.
We were kind of bored.
Yeah, and I told Ryan, Ryan, I'm not gonna do this anymore. And Ryan's like, no, do something different. He goes, what? He goes, you should do Disneyland. You and Amanda are so passionate about Disney. You're always spouting out these strange little facts that nobody knows. So I was like, oh, we'll just give it a try. And so that's how it actually became born. And we started doing it, and it just took off, and people really seem to like the secrets revealed videos that we do, and so that's kind of like our bread and butter. But we also try to do like the cooking videos that Amanda does, and the food videos, and the souvenirs, and so people love those as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, and it clearly shows your passion for it because even when you're watching either the secrets revealed, because sometimes that stuff, if you have a host that doesn't really feel impassioned by it, you can kind of tell that it's just kind of going through a fact sheet, but watching you go through it, you guys go through it, there is such a love for it, and I
get so excited, and that's probably one of the problems I have on YouTube is I get excited and I talk really fast when I get excited. So
I love it.
Everybody's like, slow down. I'm like, oh, right.
It is cute though. One of the first questions that I asked him when I first met him, it was like our first date was, what are your thoughts on Disneyland? And he pulled out his annual pass from Disneyland without even saying anything. And I turned to him and I said, oh, this is going to work.
We're going to be fine.
We're going to be fine. We're going to work out just fine.
That is, that's my dream right there. You guys, that's my dream right there. That's fantastic. And you know what, you might talk fast, Chris, but I absolutely love it because I think it's so great when you just kind of go, it's like the train's coming off the tracks, because it's just so much passion. Yes. It's like I'm sitting on Big Thunder and the track is just gone and you're just, the train is off in the sky and it's just like, all right, we're getting some good facts here. It was, I think the, Disneyland Paris Phantom Manor one that there's like a segment in there where you're going like a mile a minute and you're giving the entire plot of the ride and it's good. I was like, this is excellent. I was like, I could not recreate this if I tried. I was like, good.
Producer Zach was actually filming me then, and he's like, I think he goes, a lot of people, don't have a chance to come here. He's like, can you go ahead and just give the rundown of the ride, the plot? And I'm like, sure. I get it. I got so excited. I was like,
I think that's the best analogy I've ever heard is you are like Big Thunder off the tracks. That is the best. It is so cute. I'm going to say that all the time now.
Well, please. Yes. It's a high compliment from me because Big Thunder and the mountains are like my home. I've had some harrowing experiences as a child, but as an adult, it's just like a warm blanket. I'm just like, all right. I'm like, which nice. I gotta ask you guys. I don't know where the origin of the joke came from. Is it because there are multiple Big Thunder Mountains, but you guys always will say it's the wildest ride in the the Western Hemisphere or something like that?
Well, I was doing a video on the secrets revealed at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and so we started it off, and I said it's the wildest ride. And I literally had a brain freeze at that moment. I was like, so I just said something funny. I said wildest ride in Western United States. I just said it. Yeah, and then after that, it just took off, and now so we tried never really to say it to like the end of the video, and it just became like a joke, and people seem to really like that, and people are like, they like roll. You can hear their eyes rolling in the back of their head every time we do those jokes.
I love it. I think it's hilarious. I'm like, okay, now that I completely understand it, but even before that, I was like, okay, I was like, if they're being specific, and that's really
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool. And as someone who was just at Disneyland recently, I was riding one of my favorite rides ever, the Matterhorn. Props to the Matterhorn. But I was just thinking of you guys and Chris doing your Matterhorn macaroon challenge, and I was like, how did he do this? I was like, that was brutal, like to watch. I was so impressed.
Brutal. That's a really fun video to watch. I'm really proud of that because one of the things that we really like is we get a lot of the cast members who like Provost Park Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were doing the Matterhorn Macaroon, they all just jumped in and started helping us and letting us, like getting us through the lines quicker. And they even rode the ride with us.
That's so cool.
And if they hadn't done that, I would never have been successful on that particular challenge. I mean, they were rooting for me. I was, by the end of the day though, man, it was like, I don't know, like 5 pounds of macaroons in my stomach. I was dying.
It was very amazing. And it was like kind of, it was kind of painful because it was kind of like a follow-up companion piece to Space Mountain and Churros, and then having like Thumbnail Dave come in with everybody holding churros and stuff, which I don't know if you were expecting or not. That like while you're eating that last macaroon, I was like that's just mean. I was like, the poor guys had this horrible day. I was like, but man, I love those videos are fantastic, but it's not even that because it's not like that's your whole channel is like just you like eating a bunch of food and trying to like make yourself sick. It's not that. There's so much more to it. Like you said, the secrets revealed stuff, and more so recently, like we were talking about beforehand, bringing Disneyland home and making Disneyland in your home, which I think has inspired hundreds, if not thousands, of others to do the same to interesting effect. But that video was so heartwarming, and again, it just shows your genuine passion for Disneyland and the theme parks. It's not like it's something where you're like, it's a job, I go do it, and I love it while I'm there, but when I get home I don't think about it. It's like, no, you guys like went as all out as you could, and it was incredibly endearing. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, you bet.
Thank you so much.
That was all Amanda. So that was at the end. We were supposed to be doing the, like we're supposed to have a huge meetup in California because we're doing the Provost Park Pass World Tour. We go to every Disneyland around the world. Of course, that got canceled because of the coronavirus and all of that. And so we were home and we were so sad because we had all these people that were supposed to be meeting in California. And Amanda just came with the idea. She was like, let's just build Disneyland in our basement and just do it. And boy, it took off. And that's Amanda.
We had so much fun doing it. It was fun to do it with our little guy, Miles. He just loved it. Mm-hmm. And it was just a way to bring the park to our home when you're sick at home and you can't go and you're feeling nostalgic. And I think Disney fanatics will get this, but we think about Disneyland every day. There's not a day that goes by where we're not thinking about the parks. And is that how you are? Do you think about it every day?
You can't really see it. I was gonna say I've got a Pirates of the Caribbean like flag over on the other side of my room. Yes, there's stuff you can't see, but yes, I do think about it pretty much every day.
I think I see Kylo Ren back there.
I do. He's kind of shiny, but yeah, he's there.
Perfect.
He's tucked away.
So. Wait, I got it. So just here, like this is a train wreck, right? Going off the trails, the rails. Amanda loves Kylo Ren, so I just have to ask real quickly. Did you like the last Rise of the Skywalker movie?
Okay, so and I was gonna say this too because I think if I remember correctly, Amanda, your favorite character is like Darth Vader, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So I've got a Darth Vader credit card, and I have two huge I might send you guys a picture of this later. I've got a corner for Darth Vader, and it's two big posters, and one is like Your Empire Needs You. He's like Uncle Sam. So I love Vader's my guy. I love him so much. I liked Rise of Skywalker. It's such an interesting film, and because you guys know a little more about the film industry than some other people probably do, but 7 was such an interesting kind of it felt like, all right, let's make Star Wars like the classic Star Wars again, and then 8 was like, let's do whatever we want, and then 9 was like, we gotta come back, like so
we're gonna skip over 8 and go back to make a sequel to 7.
So I liked aspects of it. I'm still so curious to know like what would it have been if they had that full thing kind of fleshed out through all 3 films, and J.J. Abrams would have done all 3 or whatever else. But I liked aspects of it. That movie moves so fast for as long as it is. It is just cooking. Like there's no really slow down points in it. So I guess I kind of appreciate it for that. But what do you guys think? Did you guys like it?
So I think that was a good way to put it. I liked aspects of it, but as a whole, for me, not so much.
Okay.
I in fact, after the movie was over, we got to go to a premiere of it before it was released.
Oh, cool.
And when the movie was over, I was like thinking about it. I looked over, and Amanda was like, her fists were like clenching and unclenching and clenching and unclenching. I'm like, "Are you okay, babe?" And she's like, she just didn't like what happened with Kylo. She wanted him to be redeemed in a different way, and she was mad because she loved that character. It's not as much as Vader, but she's like, she didn't feel that was a really strong ending for him.
Well, I will say, after we got out of the theater, I had to like shake it off. I did a full body like, "Okay, guys, just gotta shake that off." And we went home, and then we restarted the original.
Yeah, she's like,
we were like, we just had to go back to basics, shake that off a little bit, and
so we also got to go to the premiere, one of the premieres of Rogue One. Do you remember Rogue One? Obviously,
yes, I remember Rogue One.
When that scene at the end, when Darth Vader's standing in the hallway, Amanda screamed and stood up in the theater.
I stood up in the middle of the theater and clapping and clapped and cheered
she's
for
like,
him.
"He's back! He's back! He's back!"
But I don't think people mind. Most people started cheering.
Yeah,
with me.
Oh, they were all cheering with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up because I remember going to see that. It was like a Thursday night, really late. I brought my mom with me. She had a few funny comments throughout the film, but there was the moment before, and Vader's like, "Prepare a boarding party," and I was like, "Oh, is it like?" I was like, "Is it gonna happen?" And that moment happened, and I had the same reaction as Amanda, but I forced myself to stay there. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I wanted to be like, "Yes, 2 hours of this, just do this the whole time. It's perfect." I was like, "This is a perfect film." So that part of Rogue One, I was just like. I was like crying. I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted. I was like, it was beautiful. It was just so beautiful. Which is funny and sadistic too, because like when you think about it, you're like, he's the bad guy, but you're like,
I know,
he is.
right?
Yeah,
it was so good.
crazy.
I just love it. But then again, Vader, talking about Kylo Ren and redemption, Vader's the classic case of that. Maybe he can't be completely redeemed for all the bad things he's ever done, but in his final moments, he protected his son, which I think, especially with you guys, you have Miles, and there's something to that where you're like, you do anything for your son like that, your child,
exactly.
It's like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
and I think that's why Amanda's a little disappointed with Kylo. She just didn't feel that. She's like, wait, where did this whole relationship come with Rey and the romance all of a sudden and everything? And she just felt like, she felt like that Kylo is so powerful. She goes, it's confusing because in the seventh film, he's stopping laser bolts. And then all of a sudden in the ninth film, she's like, all of a sudden he's having a hard time even defeating his own personal guard at the end. And she's like, it's hard for her to understand how powerful he was. And I'm like, that's a good point. Never thought of it like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. But I think if you saw in our home video, our homemade Disneyland video, we do have Darth Vader.
Yeah.
We do have little statues of stormtroopers. And so we were at least able to bring Darth Vader and stormtroopers to our home Disneyland at home.
And I have that same, by the way, credit card with Darth Vader on it.
Yeah.
So.
Chris, you are brothers. My people. We're brothers.
Yes.
I've had people, and they probably are just stealing my credit card information, but I had this one waiter at this place. He's like, I met up with my cousin, and my cousin has Yoda. And so the guy went to run our cards, and he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I bring this in back quick and show one of our chefs because he will lose his mind?" And I have had maybe 5-10 compliments from the Vader one.
Oh yeah.
And I had one guy at like a Dairy Queen. He's like, "Dude, stick credit card." And I was like, "For the Empire, brother." And the guy was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Yeah, dude, just Darth Vader." So I'm glad you guys are definitely my people. I have a theory. In like 20 years now, like everybody, bear with me here, but that if anything were to happen. Insofar as Galaxy Edge, and if they ever wanted to change it up, what you do is you just go back and just throw in regular Stormtroopers and Vader, throw them in Rise of the Resistance, and then you just change it to like Rise of the Rebellion. You put our boy Vader in there, and I'm just saying, a Vader animatronic, I might lose my flipping mind.
I'd be I would lose my mind. I'd have to be taken to the Disneyland hospital. Like they would take me into the Disneyland hospital because I would lose my mind.
Yeah, exactly. I think that they should have gone with the original trilogy and gone to a place that we all were familiar with. It should have been like Tatooine and gone and visit like the cantina and Jabba's palace.
Yeah,
I mean, I still enjoy it, but I would like can you imagine just being there and having Vader walk down the street like a 6'6", you would lose it.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. Like, yeah, just throwing it out there. Maybe in 20 years, if they change things up a bit, they definitely have that option. And yeah, I would lose. I would cry.
Yeah,
I would be so happy.
The nice thing is they wouldn't have to really do too much. Like, obviously, they'd have to do things that would cost money for sure. But like in even Rise of the Resistance, there's just a few kind of tweaks you could make, and then you'd probably be kind of good to go. Because right now, Vader, especially in Walt Disney World, is relegated to the launch bay. And I gotta say, after meeting, and I've met Kylo Ren too, and Kylo Ren's great as well. But there's something about Vader that when you're standing there, you're like, this is so intimidating. And like filming that and like getting to like go in there with my sister, we both put our hoods up and we're like, oh yes, we're like, I was like, I'm ready to sign on today, man. Like I was like, just show me the papers. Like I'm ready to be your secret apprentice. But yeah, I just I love Vader so much. So yeah, he's not represented in the background here, but don't worry, I'll send you that picture. I love him so much. So I'm glad.
We love it.
Yeah, we love it.
We went off the rails there. We left Disney, went to Star Wars. It's all the same,
dude. Yeah, for sure. And the nice thing is, I always tell people that a great conversation, it's like a river, and the little branches that come off it, the tributaries, are like those things that kind of are born from it. So you just kind of try to find your way back to the main river of conversation if you want to.
I love that.
Sometimes on the tributaries, you know.
I feel like Jimmy, you're the main river, and where's the little twig on the shoulders of the mighty stream? You're carrying us along.
No, oh my gosh, no, we are converging. That's what this is. This is a convergence of two mighty rivers just coming together. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but so obviously we all love Disney a lot, and you guys are more. At least it sounds like you grew up more so with Disneyland. Is that true than Disney World? Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I've grown up specifically with Disneyland my whole life. Until the world tour starting January, I had never even been to Magic Kingdom. Now Amanda's gone. She's had experience with all that.
So my family did both. My family growing up, they were big Disney fans, and that's one of our main family vacations. And we went to both. So the park that I went to first was actually Disney World. And I just found that out a little while ago. And my mom sent me pictures of me as a little squishy, like 2-year-old toddler walking around Disney World.
little nugget.
Yeah. But we went, so they would alternate. They took us to Disney World, and then the next time we did a family vacation, it would be Disneyland, and we hopped back and forth. And then as I got older, Disneyland was easier to go to. I lived in California for a long time, so I just kind of planted myself more in Disneyland.
That's so cool. That's wonderful. And like for me, and a lot of people know this, but I was a really lucky kid. Living in Minnesota, you wouldn't think I would go to either of the parks a lot, but I actually went on a almost twice a year pilgrimage with my family down to Disney World, because that was kind of for a family of like 4 kids. It was like, all right, this is a safe place. We know the kids love it. And I have many great and also harrowing memories as a child of like rites of passage getting through things. But I loved it so much, and I've been to Disneyland a few times too. And the comparison I love to make, and people probably like, just Jimmy, stop, but if people are like, which one's better, Disneyland or Walt Disney World? And they're so different. But I always tell people, like, if Disney World and Disneyland were a pizza, Disneyland is like the greatest slice of that pizza or segment of that pizza. Walt Disney World is just the rest of the pizza. Like, and it's overwhelming. Like, you're like, I can't eat a whole like rest of a pizza. Like if you try to do it in one trip, you're like, you can't do it all, man. Like, you can try. But
that's
like,
such a good analogy. I love that. It's a great analogy.
But I'm food related. As you probably are understanding this. I like food.
Amanda loves food analogies.
Oh, I get it. You're speaking my language.
That's good. Well, I mean, it's not a Coke on Main Street though. You know what I mean? Like a nice cold Coca-Cola on Main Street. Oh my gosh, which I have. Thankfully I had a diet. My family got me a Diet Coke thermal detonator from Disney World, but I was able to pick up one of these when I was in Disneyland recently, so I was just like, oh, my little Coca-Cola thermal detonator. I was like,
that's awesome.
I love you.
Cute.
But anyway, so Disneyland, Disney World, the World Tour, all that stuff, and you were able to make it sort of kind of, I mean, like halfway, in some respects, and a little more if you count the cruise and stuff too. But like what, those memories you obviously have made so far, and for many others who got to kind of experience it through you, I'm sure are going to stick with you forever. And like when you get back to kind of attacking this again, because it's really out of your hands right now. Like, it's not like you guys are like, oh, we just can't, we decided it's not fun anymore. We just decided to stop. You're like, no, we just couldn't do it. You had to kind of like figure it out on the fly, which I appreciate you guys being so open about it and kind of saying, all right, we had to cancel a bunch of stuff, and now we're going to try to go on the cruise line and stuff too. So I guess my question is, how was the Disney cruise? How was that?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was wonderful. So even though we had door after door after door closed, we had so many other doors open up that weren't even on our radar. So a Disney cruise was on our radar, but like maybe way out in the future. It was one of those things that we knew was there, but we just didn't really know if it would be something that we would do for a while. And then when that kind of opened up, it was one of the best experiences that we have ever had. It was amazing. And we have one of the main questions we get is, well, do adults enjoy it as much as the kids? And the answer is yes. You could go on a Disney cruise without kids and still have a fantastic time. The food is amazing. The entertainment is amazing. The shows are Broadway level. The boat was the ship, the ship, everyone gets on our case because we call it a boat, but
Yeah, who cares?
for miles, we're like, look at the big boat.
Yeah.
So the ship was beautiful and clean, and it was just unreal. And the places that we went to, Disney's private island, it was amazing. It was one of the top best 10 days of my entire life.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It wasn't on our radar. So originally we were supposed to go from Florida to Paris, then from Paris to Hong Kong, Hong Kong, Shanghai to Tokyo, Tokyo to Alani, then end in Disneyland.
Yeah.
And the day that we left to fly to Florida, we got news that Shanghai had closed. And then the very next day was Hong Kong closed. And so we were like, oh shoot. But we kept thinking, we didn't realize the gravity of the situation at the time. We were like, oh, this is kind of crazy. We're like, maybe it'll be done in a week. We're like, don't worry, by the time we get done with Paris, it'll be done. And we got to Paris and we realized how started the situation becoming a little more serious. And so our travel agent getaway today, they're like, hey, we'll just go on a cruise. And we hadn't even thought of it at that point. So we ended up flying back to Miami and went on this cruise, and it was amazing. I had never been on. I had no idea or expectations, and it was so much fun. We had the best time. I just loved it. So it was great.
That's so good to hear. And I think, the trepidation of a lot of people when they think of the cruises, especially if it's like a Disney cruise, as I still think for some odd reason, for many people, there's this kind of feeling towards all the Disney stuff being just for kids. And it's so weird because like when you're there, I still see, you see plenty of children and stuff there, but you see so many adults and like older families enjoying it. And all I can think now, as opposed to being like, well, you're missing out on the magic, is like, well, I guess there's just a few less people in line. I was like, if you want to, like, if people come at you like in the real world, and they're like, you go to Disney, like, why would you waste your time? I'm like, I don't know. It's pretty great. And after all the stuff that's happened in the world, I like think of how much I appreciate just Epcot. And I know it's not like the true representation of the whole world. I understand that, but I've made some really great friends, one in particular from like the German pavilion, that I appreciate so much, and their perspective and just talking to them, and it's just such a cool thing to get to experience without having to leave the country. Like that to me is so cool. Like I love it so much. So I think the cruise, I've heard nothing but good things like from other people, and like couples who are in their mid or late 20s, early 30s who are going without kids even. They're like, yeah, this is fun because there's like the adults only areas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
we met this couple there, and they didn't have it. They were just, as I say, they were a young couple, no kids, and they were like, and it was like their third cruise, something like that. And they're like, we come on Disney cruises because it's so fun for adults. Yeah. And they do. It was a blast.
That's so cool. I've seen some of the videos of some of the places you can eat there, like the additional add-on charge stuff too. But just even the base food looks like. And I know one of those days, Amanda, you got like a late night cheeseburger or something like that, and I was like, that would be me. I was like, I'd be there. I'd be like, I'll just go maybe get a couple of burgers or something. Like,
no, it really is so true. It was like Chris and Miles had fallen asleep, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. I mean, I was not hungry, but the food is there, so you tell yourself that you're hungry.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll putter around and see what I can find. And I was eating all the food, and they were playing Muppets Treasure Island on the big, huge outdoor movie screen, which is one of my favorite movies. And I just was like, this is perfect. I'm sitting out in the ocean. I can see the stars. I'm watching Muppets Treasure Island, and they're on a ship, and I'm on a ship, and I'm eating cheeseburgers and pizza and ice cream. And it was just perfect. It was so fun.
I'm so happy you brought that up, because before I even saw that vlog, I had just recently rewatched Muppet Treasure Island. And it's probably my favorite Muppet movie as well. I love, and he's a minor character, but Blind Pierre, who shows up at the beginning to threaten Billy Bones. I think one of my favorite Muppets of all time. It just like that movie is so ridiculous, and I love it so much. And Tim Curry is just like, if you could get a person who is kind of Muppet-like and throw him in there, it's just like, oh man, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It is a great movie, so and to be honest, now that we're all kind of stuck at home, we've been singing the Cabin Fever song.
Thank you. Yes, for sure. And I saw that, and then I was like, it's art's imitating real life, and I was like, okay, everybody's in the Cabin Fever things. I got it too. I'm like,
I got it too.
It's just, and I had never finished through the credits. I didn't know, or maybe it's in the credits somewhere. I didn't know that Long John made it back to the island, and he's just sitting next to an Easter Island head or something. I was like, oh, so he didn't sink in the boat, and because he kind of swims back to the island at the end.
Right.
But they show him there. I was like, that's the nice thing to just be like, here you go. Here's some closure. Yeah, that's a great movie, and even better when it's played on a Disney ship out in the middle of the ocean. It's that's pitch perfect.
It was perfect. It was perfect, and even like I mentioned before, their island was perfect. It was amazing. I think about it every day now.
It was absolutely gorgeous, and it was a beautiful day.
Yeah, I kind of thought if we just did Disney cruises for the rest of our life, just as your vacation, I mean, you would be one happy person, because it was just amazing. It was really amazing. But I mean, obviously we love the parks too. We're definitely going to be going back to the parks, but the cruise, totally. It was great.
Yeah. So I'm so happy to hear that. And I hope one day I'll do the same, because it just seems like everybody who covers those things and talks about it, they just talk about how much they love it, and that it feels like, to quote you guys, it's like if Disneyland were put on a ship and just floated out to sea, and it was but it's still there. And you're there without as many rides. You have kind of the aqueduct, and stuff like that. But that's kind of the most kind of ride stuff you're gonna do, or the drop slide and stuff. So it's okay, yeah, that's still really cool, and the theater and stuff in there too, and the performances I've heard are fantastic.
Amazing.
They're Broadway style.
Yeah, 100% Broadway level productions. Oh, so good. Okay, I'm going to admit something right now that I've never admitted yet. But when we went to go see, so Tangled was one of the shows. And I was tired. We were jet lagged because we had gone to Florida, and we were in Disney World for forever, and then we were in Disneyland Paris, and we had just adjusted to Paris time, and then we went back to Florida, and so we were jet lagged and tired. And it was the night that we were going to go see Tangled, and I thought to myself, I'm just going to cuddle up in the couch and just fall asleep, and I'm just going to sleep through the show and just try to take a little nap. I didn't, though. It was so good. I couldn't fall asleep, so I think that's a good compliment to the show.
She cried.
I cried. It was so good.
That's good.
Yeah, it kept me awake. And a lot of people know that I love to sleep, and I can sleep anywhere. And so the fact that the show actually did keep me awake, and I loved it so much, I laughed, I cried, I danced. Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
That's so good. Oh man, you guys, just warms my heart. It's so good to hear. And that is an impressive feat for a show, especially, and with the caveat too of you having feel your body's you gotta just pick a time zone,
right?
Sitting there, and you're you're driving to Miami, and you're your body's you're still Paris time, and you're okay, so I'm pretty tired. And they're all right, learn all this stuff. Here's all the safety stuff, and hey, tonight there's gonna be a performance, and you're I just want to lay down somewhere, please.
It's literally 3:30 in the morning for me right now, but okay, we're doing it.
Yeah. Was that, you said that the island was one of the best days of your life? Is that kind of, obviously that encompasses the entire trip too, but were there any particular days during the trip so far that you look back on and you're that's one of the days on land as opposed to at sea?
Oh yeah, for me there was a special day. It was I think our second to last day in Paris, and it started to rain, and Amanda's hey, I gotta go back, I'm gonna go do some laundry, because we had run out of clean clothes, and she's I'll go back and do a little laundry, it's kind of raining. Okay, so Miles and I and my mom happened to be there, and we went, and the park cleared out. I've never seen this before, and we rode Peter Pan 5 times in a row.
Yes.
And they let us just keep going because nobody was there, and that was such a fun day for us, because we were there that evening and nobody was there, and so we could ride anything we want. It was that was just something I'll never forget ever.
And I'm sure Amanda won't forget it either. She's like, but I wasn't there. I don't know if that coincides with the same day when you were in Paris for Pirates of the Caribbean, and like that might have been a different day that you guys were riding and doing the pirate stuff. If that, like, were you kind of riding that again and again?
Yeah, that was one of the first days that we were there. That might have been the first day we were there.
Yeah, that was the very first day that we were there, and that was a fun day too. It had rained that day as well, and it rained really hard and had like hell and sleet. And so we just huddled in the gift shop at the end of Pirates, and then we're like, "What are we doing here?" So let's just keep riding the ride over and over. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of people sometimes get like down, but like, "Oh, rain at Disneyland is the worst." Anytime it rains at Disneyland, I'm like, "Yes." Because people seem to just run away and you get the whole park to yourself.
Yep, exactly. No, you guys get it. You guys are professionals. I am the exact same way because I used to think about that too. But then I realized that how like terrified people were of the rain. And it was funny to me because I was like, guys, this is like 70% or more of us is made of this stuff. It's not going to kill us. Like we're going to be fine here. I was like, this is your chance to ride Splash Mountain as much as you want. Like, and like not really worry about it. So I love it. And I'm just like, that's fine. That's fine with me. And going to Florida a bunch as a kid, you just had to like recognize that rainstorms were just going to happen. Like, because in Disneyland, it doesn't happen that as frequently. But in Disney World, it's like all the time. It seems
I think that's the best way to put it is we just kind of even started the trip too. Like, hey, whatever happens, like happens. And we're just going to roll with it. And so I had packed those big yellow rain suits for us just in case. The rain slickers for the rain. I mean, we were just like, whatever happens, rain, snow, anything, we're going to just do it.
Yeah.
We did.
Oh my gosh, Amanda, you dancing in front of like Disney Studios and whatever was just so... or whatever. It was like,
that was that Walt Disney Studios in Paris. That was that when the rain slickers. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it was like a 2319 was going down.
Exactly. We got 2319.
It was so. I was just like, you guys, and that's so funny because that's a park that I think gets a lot of criticism, and I love to think that like one of the funniest things and memories that I remember from this whole trip is right in front of that park. Because like so many people are like, nobody even goes to that park, and you're like dancing in front of it, and I was like, this is so good. And I just love watching like you guys have such a carefree attitude. And I respect it so much because there's like so many people, and especially, when you're overseas, they're kind of like, what are they doing? And you're just like, nope. You're like, I'm going to dance. I might do a cartwheel for someone because they're a new like high level Patreon member. Like, and you're just so excited. And like, you got that cheerleading squad in Walt Disney World to like do a cheer with you. I was like, what is happening? I was like, this is so cool. Like, you guys are my people. This is like, I try to get people engaged when I'm in the park. Like, that's maybe my thing. Like at Disneyland, I tried to get like everyone to like cheer or like do stuff like that. I'm like, let's go, this is super fun. So I think it attracts.
Amanda's kind of got this magic touch, so she can go in any park and she can get anybody. They'll cheer, they'll yell at her, they'll run around. She's just got this magic way about her that people are like, yeah, I'll do whatever you say. Sure.
Yeah, well, that's you. But you guys just make for a fantastic couple then, because you guys are like, if Amanda's got all that, I feel like after all these like really wonderful kind of update videos you do, Chris, I feel like you could be like the internet's dad, where you're like everybody, you're like everybody, just take a moment, deep breath. It's gonna be okay. Fine. Like I feel like no one is really trying to do that, and I was like, I just appreciate it so much because it's like you deliver this like news that might be pretty sad, and you're like, it's okay. Everybody's gonna be fine, and you're just like,
we're gonna get through this. Just fine.
Like,
that is
my
so
gosh.
cute.
So Miles,
thank you for saying that.
Yeah, Miles is a lucky kid. Like he's such a lucky kid. I'm like looking. I'm like, because sometimes you're like, oh, that's the parent they're gonna gravitate more towards. I was like, he's gonna be just torn. He's gonna like be like, I go to both of them for everything. He's like, I love them both so much.
He loves his mom a lot. So
well, but then he like the betrayal though on the Alice in Wonderland thing. I'm glad you guys still won that whole thing. I was like, Miles, why? Like he didn't understand.
Little traitor.
Yeah, exactly.
He is so fun. That's the thing. Like he really is such a good kid, and he's so fun to bring around. We had a couple people that were like, he's 3, and you're gonna take him on all like airplanes, and I'm like, he actually does really well. Like he loves it. He has a zest for life too, and he just wants to be involved and be social and run around and ride rides, and he's all for it. He's a party man too.
Yeah,
he's a fun little guy.
Yeah, well, for sure, and it comes across in the videos as well. Like it's not like he's kind of becoming too big for his britches, or he's not appreciating the stuff. Like, he's so excited to go to all
Just
of
so
them.
excited.
And even when you told him, you're like, yeah, we're not going to be able to go to these other parks, but we're going to do this thing instead, he was just like, it didn't seem like he lost it.
Yeah, he's like,
He's
okay,
like, let's do it.
He's like, all right, and I hope like he looks back on this and it's like a formative thing for him, where it's just like, hey, you get these cool opportunities sometimes. Sometimes there's problems and you just have to, I always say, adapt and overcome. And hopefully he just is like, yeah, I've been like this my whole life, and you can watch the videos of it. He's like, you can see here we had problems, but I was like, what you gonna do?
Exactly.
So hopefully, and even if he doesn't remember all this, you guys have the footage of it. And he'll be like, oh yeah, you know what? I do remember loving that maze for Alice in Paris. Like, you'll be like, I loved that. It was so cool. That's so great. Okay, we talk about Disney, and man, we've been going for a while here. You guys I knew this was going to be easy. I knew it was going to be easy talking to you guys. So I was like, I'm so excited and nervous, but it's going to be so good. I wanted to give you guys a shot to talk about like any movies, TV shows. I know, Amanda, you play a few games. Are there things that like define you, or your favorite things that aren't necessarily Disney stuff? Is there anything like that you would want to talk about?
Sure.
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. I feel like, honestly, lately, Disney really is my whole life. It really is my whole life. I actually was asked that question on Patreon a while ago, like, what are your hobbies outside of Disney? And I was like, oh.
You're like, Disney stuff. Disney, actually.
So I will share a couple things that I enjoy that aren't really Disney, but I really enjoy nature. So in the summertime, we go hiking all the time, or I take Miles hiking. He's been hiking since he was just a few weeks old, maybe 8 weeks old.
Oh.
We've been taking him hiking in the mountains, and I love snowboarding. I love snowmobiling. I love being in the mountains and being out in nature. So that is something non-Disney related about me.
I'm a huge baseball fan. I love baseball.
Cool.
And in fact, this morning, even Miles has got a little love for baseball, and because everything's going on, we're being quarantined. We invented a game, and we have this little T-ball, and we had Amanda standing at one end of the room, and then Miles would hit the ball and try to hit her with the ball, and he could swing it and hit the ball, and he would laugh so hard. So there's lots of fun things like that we could do as a family. I just enjoy that.
Yeah,
I like being around my family.
No, thank you.
Sure, of course. Well, and it shows too. Like, it's just, you guys are such a wonderful like unit. You guys are a cohesive group.
Thank you.
Like, it really comes through.
Well, I'm gonna say, for as far as movies, I'm gonna say this. I think one of the most perfect movies ever made is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think everything about it, the cinematography is amazing, the acting's amazing, the script's amazing, the action's so good. And anytime you walk into a room, if that movie's on, you can sit down and just watch it. Doesn't matter if you've seen it 200 times. It's still good. That's probably one of my top movies of all time, and I love that one.
Yeah,
that's
Amanda, I want you to say something. I want you to talk about your favorite movie too, but I just have to just jump in here for a second. I did something a little while ago where I talked about Raiders because I have like a little bit of a hierarchy for movies. Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of the greatest films of all time.
Oh,
I don't care. And you saying that, Chris, it like just strikes a chord like lightning in my heart. I'm like, yep. I'm like, and I just rewatched it. Not only does it hold up like crazy, but every like the acting and the casting is like pitch perfect, and
it's so good.
And it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I love it because Harrison Ford, he's in his prime. He looks great. He's fun to watch. Marianne, she's so good, and she's a great female character because she's not like, she can take care of her own, and I love that. They didn't make her weak, and they let her be a strong female. And just loved it, and the action's great. I love the airplane scene when they're fighting and trying to get back up, and I just think it's great.
Oh my gosh, that whole, and like when you think about like how exhausted they would have to be after like fighting through a night of snakes in like a pyramid and stuff, and they're like, all right, now go out here and fight this super tall German dude. Like, oh my gosh, and one of my favorite lines in all movie history is when Saul is talking to him right after that, and Indy looks at him, he's like, what truck? And then it cuts right to the truck sequence, and I'm like, it's such a good, like, it's Indy's like, I'm at the end of my rope here, just tell me that someone's got the Ark somewhere, and they're like, yeah, they got it, and they're taking it, and it's like, oh no, like, you're like,
so good.
Indy, go get him, Indy. Raiders, Chris, my brother,
so
Raiders,
good, yeah, exactly.
It's so good. And you guys actually, from watching the vlogs and stuff, you guys know the actor who played Salah, John Rhys-Davies, right?
Yeah. He's a friend of ours. We actually we went to have dinner with him. We're having dinner with him at a restaurant. He's coloring the coloring books with Miles and having a good time. and he'll steal your pizza. He's just he's a good friend of ours. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's one of also the greatest things about Temple of the Forbidden Eye, his little safety spiel and stuff.
Oh, we love it.
It's so I love Sala. That's one of the things I don't like about Temple of Doom is like there's not enough Sala, and by not enough I mean there's none. And then like the Last Crusade, they're like we're bringing him back, and I'm like
we're bringing it all back.
I'm like bring him back for everything. I was like he's a 10
hilarious.
out of 10. He's so good.
He's great.
Amanda, how about you? Any favorite like films that aren't necessarily Disney?
Yeah, well, I love that you guys were talking about that because I agree. Raiders is one of the best films in my opinion too. So it's one of my favorites. And we just watched Temple of Doom 2 nights ago, and tonight we're going to watch The Last Crusade, and then we'll do Raiders a little bit later. But non-Disney films for me. Oh, I don't know. We've just been watching Disney. Again, it's that question where it's like, what's non-Disney? And I'm like,
what isn't Disney these days? Like, it's hard. There's so many good things that Disney has. So you're like, yeah.
But like but I will say, Kate, I'm sorry, I am going back to Disney. But my Disney films that I love are the ones that are a little bit more unknown or underrated and that are just funny. So I love Goofy Movie. I love Emperor's New Groove.
Yes.
Just the ones that are funny and they don't get a lot of love. They don't get a lot of attention in the parks. You never see anything Emperor's New Groove in the parks. And I would love there to be like an Yzma roller coaster where it says, pull the lever. Like, I think that would be so much fun. So for me, I just love those funny Disney movies.
I feel like, for some odd reason, the Provosts have entered my mind.
Yay!
And I am definitely not working on something that has Yzma and the secret lab and stuff for a video, because it has driven me crazy too, because it's like they've made a ride in a movie that would work perfectly as a ride in a park. It's like, I know. You're killing me, Disney. And I get it's not super popular, but like oh my gosh, like Yzma and all that stuff. And there's so much. I've kind of been researching the behind the sines on Emperor's New Groove and what it was going to be beforehand. All that stuff, like Yzma's song, and they like animated it and everything. And I was like, what? I was like, where was this? I was like, oh man, that would have been great. I still love Emperor's New Groove though, and I think it's such a fun, cool movie that's covering something that not a lot of animated films would cover. Like the closest one I could think of is like Road to El Dorado, which is the one
I thought that too.
I love that one too. But man, Emperor's New Groove, that's where like Patrick Warburton for me as a kid like really came into my life, and I was like, who's this guy? And I quote that movie so much, mostly just the Yzma, like I'm not sure, because like Cusco's asks, he's like, so what is he in like his mid-20s? And she's like, I'm not sure. And he's just like, sure. The whole dinner sequence is so, and just he's like, more broccoli.
Or like also like that scene, like, he's like, she knits. Like crochets,
yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But it really, like, it. You're right. They set up a roller coaster where you can be sitting there, and she says, "Pull the lever, Kronk," and then you drop, and you hear "wrong lever," and it just goes crazy. Like, they set up that perfect ride, and I really hope to see it one day, if not at Disneyland or Disney World, but maybe in one of the parks in Asia, or, I know Disneyland Paris, they're really expanding right now, which we are so excited for. They're doing Arendelle for Frozen, and they're also doing a Marvel Land. But I don't know. I mean, if any of the parks are listening, if they can take up her roller coaster, I mean, that would be incredible.
We are going to make it happen. And my thought was like, if you do it, maybe that is going to be like your Chickapin Hill last drop, where it's like there's 2 branching paths. In the beginning, you go through, like, you get to go through the lab, and you get to like experience some other thing, or maybe not the lab or something else. And then at the end, it's like pull the lever, and then you try to do that whole thing, and she's just screaming, like, she's hitting the wrong lever, but you see her falling down into like a crocodile pit or something,
it's perfect.
And you're going down or something, and that's how it ends. And you kind of end up the secret lab, and then maybe that's the gift shop too, because they have to do it, right? Like show up and they're like, okay, but like who wouldn't want to buy like little Yzma potions and stuff, like and like the alpaca, like everybody's wearing like llama shirts and stuff. I'm just saying, Disney.
Oh, it's too perfect.
Easy money, baby.
Easy money, like it would be perfect.
Also, I've been thinking, because I've been building this idea, which I'll have to talk to you guys about, but I love Hades as well. And I know that's gonna hit Chris, but I really, really want an underworld boat ride. I really do. And I want it. I'm ruining everything with this thing, but you guys are worth it. So you do the underworld boat ride, on the bottom, right, with Hades, and but on top of it, you do Mount Olympus, and then you do the Titans attacking the gods, and that's your roller coaster. So you have like a two-tier, like two different rides. They're like, you know, connected but not.
Yes.
Like, I just think you like Hades. Think of like the end of that ride, and you kind of make the boat ride a little bit close to something along the lines of Navi River Journey, where at the end of it, you get a Hades animatronic who's talking to you, and he's super animated, and he's like pointing at things, and like he's like kind of like, hey, you want to stay here? It's like there's 999,000 of us here. Like, you want one more? You want to come join us? Like, you know, that would be so crazy cool. Like, oh, like come on, man, more Hades.
I wish you could see me right now because I have chills. Like I'm totally imagining that like kind of double ride, one with the boat, one with the roller coaster. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's like the dream. And I know that's what they were trying to do with Indiana Jones a long time ago. They were going to do like the kind of interconnected, like, you know, the roller coaster, but then like the Jeep ride and maybe like a boat thing too. And it was just like, it got too big, and it just like, it hurts because you hear these things and you're like, oh my gosh, like please don't do this to me, Disney. Like the whole Beastly Kingdom thing is still, it really is burned into my brain. I'm like, Pandora's great, don't get me wrong, Pandora's amazing, but like I still want that Beastly Kingdom, baby.
No doubt.
But anyway, yeah, so more Emperor's New Groove, more Hercules stuff, some underrated gems of the Disney kind of collection there.
For sure.
I'm glad you brought that up, which you guys did a video on recently, and I almost stood up and applauded because I had never seen The Rocketeer before, and I just watched it, and I completely agree. The Rocketeer is fantastic.
Isn't it fun?
Love
it's
it.
Such a fun film.
It's such a fun film.
That was the Hidden Gems on Disney Plus video. We just find the 10. So there's a couple of people help us do research, and we're just going through and trying to find all these favorite films on Disney Plus that most people just skip over. And Rocketeer, man, most people just don't even think about it. But it's such a fun film.
Yeah, and it's from the same director, for people who don't know, that did the Captain America: The First Avenger.
Yeah,
so
that's
exactly one of my favorite Marvel films. So when I watched this, I was like, oh, I can see the DNA like baked into this. I was like, I was like, oh man, this is such a cool little movie. I really like it. It's super good. So watch The Rocketeer, everybody. Please.
For sure, 100%.
Go home and watch The Rocketeer right now.
Yeah.
Well, like, thank you guys for sharing that. So Amanda's favorite Disney, non-Disney thing is still Disney. That's good. She's on point there. I know, Chris, you've mentioned in the past there's a few like roller coasters, and maybe this is kind of like a secret thing, but like that aren't necessarily Disney, that are more of your favorite. Like, are these secrets? Can we not talk? Is it like, should we not?
No, we can talk about it. So yeah, like because people think I'm only like just love Disney. We love all theme parks.
Yeah. Well, when we first started the channel, we wanted to start with Disney because that's truly what we're passionate about, and that truly is Chris. So before we started, Chris was talking about secrets of the park and history and everything. So that really is him. But we didn't always want to just do Disney, and our Patreon members know this. We talk about this all the time. Is we do want to branch out to other parks, other like roller coasters, other things like that. That's why we didn't have Disney ever in our name and our title, because we wanted it a little bit more open. So Chris loves roller coasters. We love roller coasters too. And his favorites are non-Disney.
Yeah, my favorite roller coaster of all time is at Knott's Berry Farm, and it's the Ghost Rider, the wooden roller coaster. This roller coaster is so intense that when you're I can't even handle it. It's so much fun.
That is amazing. That's so cool to hear that. And you guys shouldn't, I hope no one ever like thinks of you guys and tries to limit you to that, because while Disney is incredibly expansive, I think that one of the best things about Disney is that it has brought competition to itself, and that competition spurs them. Because if there wasn't that competition, then Disney could do whatever they wanted, and it wouldn't necessarily matter, because they'd be like, well, this is what you got, you know. Like
this is why that's why they get a little like the Incredicoaster is a good example of that. Like, because the original thought is Walt Disney wanted rides that all. The original thought was rides can only be there if all children and adults could ride them together. Oh. And so they didn't have like these roller coasters or anything too crazy because they wanted a family. But because of like Knott's Berry Farm and Magic Mountain, they're kind of attracting teenagers. They're like, you know what? We should be a little more diverse. Yeah. And I like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. I think that it's a great thing. And then it's just like Disney's like, all right, fine, we'll make the Matterhorn. And they're like, you want us to build a mountain there, Walt? And it's just like, yep, you're gonna do that. I'm just like, exactly. Yes, thank you, the mountains. But yeah, I think it's good, and I've kind of been trying to branch off and try a little bit of going into like Universal in Florida and California, just to kind of see like some of their main competition.
Yeah, right.
It is interesting. It's interesting to do it as hardcore Disney fan as I am, because I'm like, it feels like I'm kind of betraying like
You
Disney.
do.
Like
Yeah,
you're
you
like
feel that
walking
way.
around. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not like they own me, but then again, if
Yeah.
I'm paying with the Darth Vader credit card, and like I still see a lot of people in the parks wearing Disney stuff though, like a lot of Mickey
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm just like,
for sure.
and they get it, you know. But there's something that's nice to have, you know, these other things that have some pretty cool things in them, even if Disney's still my favorite. It's like, okay,
Right.
you know, there's still other things in the world, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. How about Amanda? Is there anything for you at any of the other parks that like that isn't Disney that you kind of like? Oh yeah, I also really love, you know, Jurassic Park River Adventure or something like that.
Oh yeah, I definitely love that. You know, one of my favorite amusement parks that I would love us to get to and cover is Cedar Point in Ohio.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
love Cedar Point. And then we have a little amusement park here in Salt Lake City.
No.
Lagoon. I would love to cover Lagoon. And then I personally love Knott's Berry Farm. Knott's Berry Farm has a really soft place in our heart.
Yeah.
We went there for our anniversary. We went to Disneyland for our anniversary, but then we went over to Knott's Berry Farm for a day, and we love it there. So I would love to do Knott's Berry Farm too.
That's great. I wish that Mall of America's theme park was a little more compelling, because it used to be the kind of Knott's-ish in like the theming of it with Snoopy and everything.
Yeah.
So I wish it was more compelling, because I'd be like, you guys should totally come up here and see this one.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be like, oh my gosh, I ran into you here. How funny.
Funny.
But yeah, that's so cool to hear about that. And I do want to go to Knott's because I haven't been there yet, and I've heard really good things about it.
You need to go.
Okay.
And you just need to go
Yeah.
enjoy it, and it's fun.
If you like scary stuff, go to Knott's Scary Farm in October. It's a blast.
That's really scary. That's
Mhm.
super fun though.
Yeah,
Do you guys like scary things?
we do.
We love 'em.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have to go with a group, because I am a big
Yes.
scaredy cat. Because I almost
me too.
did
That's
the
how
Walking
you
Dead. I almost did the Walking Dead thing at Universal. I forgot it was there. I was gonna do it for my sister, who's a huge fan of that sort of thing, and I was like, "This is gonna be a horrible like vlog, because it's gonna be like just darkness and me yelling." And I'll be like, "Well, there you go. That was me walking through the Walking Dead, being terrified of all these people, and being like, please don't touch me, please don't touch me."
Oh,
Like,
I'm exactly the same way. I get freaked out. I hide behind Amanda. I run. I yell. I scream. And then I get down. I feel all brave. I'm like, I survived it. Ah.
It's
that's
so fun.
amazing.
We'll go.
Okay.
We'll all go together.
Please, like you just say the word when it's all open. I'll just come out. I'm happy to do it. It's not a long plane ride. It's fine.
No, yeah, sure, easy peasy.
I've heard that Hollywood Horror Nights and stuff too at Universal is pretty cool.
It's intense. It's super fun.
I would like to try it someday, but I wouldn't do it alone. So
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah, it's another really fun one. We did that one in October, and it was so much fun. But we did it as a group. You definitely need a group. Strength in numbers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I feel like I can almost smell it when I like watch it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like the smoke machines and like all the makeup and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. But yeah, it's one of those things that if I did it alone, I would not probably sleep for like a week. I would be like, it'd be like
it's
this.
scary.
I'd be like, lights on. Be like, all right, here we go. We're going to watch some Disney movies. I'd be like, here we go. We're just going to kind of relax with some of that. That's cool. So obviously you guys have varied interests that don't involve just Disney, because I know sometimes with channels like this, people get really like focused in on that, and if you try anything else, they're like, well, how dare you? But it's not like it's not like you can't branch out and try new things, because you bring that entertainment and that enthusiasm to other places. It goes along with you know.
Right, exactly.
You know? That's the most
that was our
important
goal.
thing. Yeah, and clearly, like, even though you're not in the parks right now, people are still watching and enjoying stuff, and like watching, like, you know, make food and stuff, which is fantastic. Like, I'll watch. Like, if you like the people, I feel like you'll watch them do anything. Like, that's kind of my motto. I'm just like, you know, I like this group, and I want to support this group, and it's just interesting to see what you guys are doing and being proactive, as opposed to just being like, oh, we can't do anything, so the channel's going to be down for 6 months or whatever else. You're still making it work, which I think is pretty admirable.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate
I
that
appreciate
so
that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, you guys are you're just so appreciative. You guys are so genuine. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. And we've been going for a while now, so I should probably wind it down a little bit, because I don't want to eat up your whole day, because I could easily like do that, but you guys have other things to do. So we're gonna move into that next segment of the show that we like to call Time Killers. See, I told you guys I'd do the creepy voice.
I love it.
I love it.
Thank you. I don't do that voice very often, because it would ruin me. But it's the shows we've been watching, TV shows, movies, games we've been playing. So what have you guys been killing time with? You know, it sounds like a lot of Disney Plus.
Okay, I think a lot of Disney Plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we play a lot of games. So we've been playing Candyland.
We've been playing Candyland with Miles.
Nice. A ton. And Sorry.
And Sorry.
Because he loves that. We've been playing that a lot. We've also we have a little teeny tiny backyard, and in our backyard, when we get good weather, we go out there and we kind of Amanda likes to plant little flowers and try to get and stuff. I just sit there and just look around. I have no idea, get overwhelmed with it, and feel like I need to go take a nap. But Amanda loves that.
But one game, speaking of planting flowers, one game that Chris has found that has been so much fun is Animal Crossing. He's gotten really into Animal Crossing.
So Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Switch. You've had a bunch of the Provost Park Pass Patreons are like, you got to get this game. And I cannot even tell you, this game is so crazy. It's just, there's no point to it. You just walk around, you pick weeds, you grow fruit, you sell fruit, you go fishing. And I'm like, it's like, and the fish come at different times of day. So I wake up at 2 a.m. I'm like, I better go down and fish for a little bit to get some.
That is amazing. That is so cool. And I've actually seen the pictures of you guys interacting with the Patreon members, like in there and having like your own little dance parties and stuff, and just like Miles laughing or something. And I was just like, you guys, like the cutest, like warmest, humblest, like group here that I've seen covering parks and stuff. It just feels so. And I bet a lot of people are just like, man, he just brought them on here just to talk about how much he loves them. Well, guess what? You're darn right I did, because it's just it's a real pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, that's so cool. So you guys have obviously been killing time with a few different things then, and like jumping into other stuff because you're like right now. Would you have been? You would have still been on the trip, right?
No. We would have been home.
Oh yeah, you would have been home because
you're barely about a week. We've been about a week. So the March 26th was our last day in Disneyland. We would have been home on that day.
Okay.
So we would have been home about a week ago.
Yeah, just a few days, and we were supposed to be going out to Disneyland. Was it this weekend for the 25th anniversary of Goofy movie?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was so sad. And then we had then we're supposed to be going to do Dapper Days the weekend after that. So everything's kind of got put on hold. But we're hanging in there.
Yeah. We're making it work just like everyone else.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing a great job, and you guys, I just gotta say, you stand out above the crowd, even if you have to shout out loud. Don't worry. You guys are like, and Goofy movie, by the way, so good. It's so weird that like. I love that it's Goofy, but it's interesting that they chose like him, and they're not like, oh, let's make some sort of kind of like familial like Mickey movie or something. Like I love that they focused in on Goofy. They're like, let's do Goofy. Yeah. Let's make him not the funniest guy the whole time. Like what if he like was sad about things? It's like, Goof, like you're killing me, man.
No, I love it.
I know.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's a good movie.
I love it. I love that they added some depth to his character.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, and it's like, as you guys said, the depending on where you are at in your life, as a kid, you're like, just let Max do whatever he wants. And then when you're like a little bit older, you're like, oh, like Max, you should hang out with your dad, man. Like those are the years you're not gonna get back.
Yeah,
like,
come on, Max, just spend some time with just spend a little time with your dad. It just shows that it's a good writing because depending on the stage of your life, you look at it differently, which is just a good sign of a good movie.
Oh, totally. I also love the fact that Goofy is fully committed to letting Max be the navigator, and he just goes with his plan. He's like, well, I guess you chose. Like, he's like, I guess we're going here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Goof.
I love it. I love it.
And also, I learned something too because I didn't know PJ was Pete Jr. So. Thank you guys for teaching me that. I didn't know that before. Pete's son. I was
there you
like,
go, Pete Jr.
I never knew. I was like, I didn't know that. I've always just come back to the Sasquatch. That whole situation.
Yeah, how could I not know that?
I didn't. So now I know. I know more. I guess. I guess it's because Pete was more of like a cat, and I was always like, he's kind of the bad guy. So I'm like, I'll stick more to the dogs and the mice and stuff. And where's Donald's sad movie? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get that one. No, I'm just kidding. I love Donald. I love him, but it'd be hard. That'd be a hard sell. Have you guys checked out the Mickey Mouse shorts, the newer ones? Have you watched those at all?
Yes, we have. At first, I was a little bit off-put by the animation, but it's kind of growing on me.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was like, this is very different.
I actually enjoy it. The only one I have a hard time with Goofy because when you look at Goofy, he looks like you're like, what? This does not look like Goofy to me at all.
I agree. And for some odd reason, they decided to put his house like in the swamp, which was like, it's very weird. I'm like, oh, that's a really weird depiction of Goofy. I'm like, not a huge fan of it. Anyway, well, let's just wrap it up here with my favorite segment of the show, which is community feedback and questions.
Sure, let's do it.
We got a few here for you, and like I said, it was my sister who's like, you gotta ask these questions. Yeah. So first one that we have to ask you, and it's a big one. If you could have any Disney snack one day, or one that you could have every day for the rest of your life, you could have it every single day, what would it be?
Well, Amanda's is 100% Disneyland popcorn. She eats popcorn every day anyways. So hers is, she loves Disneyland popcorn. So Amanda's is Disneyland popcorn. Mine would probably be the Matterhorn macaroon or the Tigger tail. I love those both so much. I can't stand it. It was the churros. I love churros until we did the churro challenge. I got sick, and after that, I can't even look at them.
Oh, you can't even look at churros anymore? I'm so sorry.
I know, it ruined it. So every once in a while, I'm like, oh, maybe, and I look at them, like, I better not. So.
But you still like the macaroons?
Oh, love them.
Okay, that's good. I've never tried those, so I was like looking at that.
Oh,
like,
you need to try them.
And the fact that
yours for sure is the popcorn.
Yeah, the popcorn.
The popcorn for sure. And I know that you guys just did like a popcorn video, or you kind of were talking about the various popcorns. Is like the Disneyland ones though still in your mind like the greatest one?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, there's just something about Disneyland popcorn on Main Street with your Coke. Oh, it's so good. But we just tried to find the next best thing while we're all stuck at home.
That's true. That's true. Did you kind of like look back on your trip and you're like, you found that Disneyland popcorn was still the best? Like, did Disney World or Paris come even close?
Ooh, that's a good question. So Disneyland and Disney World seemed about the same to me. They seemed like the same. Okay. So good. So good. Disneyland Paris is different, but I loved it. So they offer sweet and they offer salty. And
tell them about the butter part too.
They
don't use butter.
Yeah. So for Disneyland and Disney World, I feel like it's buttery and it's salty, and they don't have butter on their popcorn in Paris, but you can either have it salty or sweet. And they have two different sections in their popcorn carts, which is so cool. And I kept getting salty because I thought that would be kind of close and like closer to what I'm used to. Sweet just sounded more like it'd be like a kettle corn sort of thing. And then one day the guy that I think he recognized me, the cast member that was working at the popcorn cart. He saw me come up so much. He said, you know, you can get a mix. Do you want to get both? And I was like, sure, let's do it. And so he
even called her, but we knew because he even called her by name. He's like, Amanda.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, what you do is you put sweet popcorn on the bottom and then you put the salty on top and try them together. And it was delicious. So if anyone is going to Disneyland Paris, mix the popcorns together because it is so good. It's so good. It's definitely different than Disney World and Disneyland, but it is yummy.
Okay. And the hot chocolate at Disneyland Paris was the best.
Oh, I could swim in that. It was so good. It was so good. The best way to describe it is like warm chocolate pudding. If you like make pudding before it hardens and goes cold, it was so thick and so rich and so delicious. I had so much of that. And Chris likes to joke about it because I would kind of disappear for a minute. I'd be like, oh, I have to go, I have to go get a picture or something. I would disappear. But what I would do is I would always just beeline it straight to my little.
She would be like, okay, I forgot. I got to get something. And she would leave and come back 20 minutes later with hot chocolate. And she did that like 4 or 5 times a day. She's like, oh, I think we might need an umbrella. I better go get it. She come back with no umbrella but hot chocolate.
Exactly. She's like purposely forgetting things now. You're just sure. I forgot my my notebook. And you're like,
oh, I'm not wearing a shoe. I got to go get a shoe.
And then I'd come back with hot chocolate, but no shoe.
And there's another shoe missing, and you're like, well, I can't walk around with no shoes, so I better go get my other hot chocolate. I mean, shoes.
So yummy.
If only it was like that on the cruise line, but then again, you might not want a bunch of hot chocolate when you're feeling hot.
Yeah, that's
She
true.
actually requested it on the Disney Key, their island, Castaway Key Island. Mm-hmm. She asked for hot chocolate, and the guy was like, the bartender's like, what?
Well, he actually responded. He said, I have never had that request in my entire life. He's like, no one here has ever asked for hot chocolate on this, island in the Bahamas.
Sunny beach. Nobody ever wanted hot chocolate. But Amanda's like, oh, I'll take one of those.
You're like, that sounds good. You're my kind of person. I love it. I felt bad that the popcorn machine wasn't going by the theater when you walked back around because I was like, she's gonna lose her mind right here. And I was like, oh no.
I know. It was so cute though because he planned the surprise for me. He's like, I have a surprise for you and I think you're going to love it. And he was so excited and he took me up there and he was just like a little boy, like on Christmas morning, like so excited to show me the popcorn garden. And it was open, it was closed, but we did get popcorn later. So that was good.
Well, he just loves you just that much. Like
he does.
That excitement. He's just just watching you be that excited. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. I gotta ask you guys, how many times, maybe yearly over like the last 5 or 10 years, how often do you get to go to Disneyland then? Do you try to get there decently regularly, or is it kind of depending on like your other life stuff?
No, I knew the answer. Last year, I think I went to Disneyland. I think it was 86 times in the year.
Oh my gosh, amazing!
Yeah, so almost like what I was there a lot. So Amanda's not there quite as much. I think Amanda was down there about 60 times in the year.
Okay, so you guys are there relatively frequently.
Yeah, we're there a lot.
Okay,
and we don't even live close. We live pretty far away, so it's an effort to get over there, but we make it work.
Yeah, and you love it, and it's like that's what you love to do. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Let me ask you something that might not be completely Disney related, but this one comes in from Missile Mage on our Discord, and he wanted to know what you guys like. If there's any movie in the last 5 years that weren't huge hits, but like ones that you really enjoyed that the people just aren't talking about.
Oh, that's a good question. Chris, you're a movie guy.
Oh, that is a fantastic question. If we want, I could do Disney for you, and then we can do outside. I'll do both. So Tron Legacy. Well, actually, that was 10 years ago, I guess.
Sure.
It was 2010, 11. I really actually liked that film. A lot of people didn't love that, but I thought it was a great film. I thought it was really good. And so I would have to go with that. If we go non-Disney, boy, there's a lot. I'm not exactly sure. What would you say, babe?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of one that didn't get a lot of attention. Well, this one got a lot of attention. This is one that we saw a few months ago in theaters, and we just watched it again, and that's Knives Out. But that one got a lot of attention.
That's a lot of attention. That's amazing.
So I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
That's okay.
What's one
Are there any like
didn't get a lot of
directors?
attention?
Like, you guys...
he's smiling. I think.
Oh.
I think he has something.
Well, I know. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you one of Amanda's favorite movies, and she's just giving me a look, and she's like, "Oh."
I'm like, uh-oh.
So this one did not get a lot of attention, but it's got a good cult following. She loves The Big Lebowski.
Oh, really? Okay,
but
there you go.
Did that come out within the last 5 years?
No, it didn't.
She's like, you don't even have to talk about that. We don't have to talk about The Big Lebowski. But still, that's okay. It's more all this. These are just questions, just insight to who you guys are. So it's still a fun, fun answer.
She's like.
It's like it's an interesting good answer. I like it a lot. Are there any like directors though for you guys that like you?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, Steven Soderbergh, I really like his films a lot. Steven Spielberg obviously is amazing. I just like, I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of them. I like Knives Out. I thought was fantastic. I think Ryan did a good job. I just didn't understand his vision for episode 8.
Yeah, I hear you there. That makes sense. To me. And I enjoyed Knives Out as well. I just saw it recently, and I think it was good. It was good. It was a lot. I didn't see it in theaters, but I'm happy I did see it. And I was like, I want to see this guy, what he can do when he's doing his own thing. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to in the future from him.
And the thing about Knives Out is if you watch it again, it's really good. I mean, it's better the second time. So
really?
There's a lot of little details that you're like, wow, I wish I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, totally. Well, man, I could talk to you guys forever, and I want to, but I shouldn't because you guys, you have other things you probably need to get to and all that jazz. But I just want to thank you for being on the show.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
No,
it's been a pleasure.
Well, no, it's the pleasure, my friend, is all mine. And to anybody watching this in the future, if you guys ever have a question or a topic, or if you want to see the Provost back on here, all you have to do is tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast. You can tweet at our official account, which is just at GoCritical, or you can tweet at me personally. I'm at JimmyGood013. Provost, I know you guys are on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, which your Instagram is fantastic. I love it. And also on Patreon. So what I would ask people to do this week is to don't support us. Please go check out the Provost and go support them. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys get to accomplish in the future. But like, if people wanted to find you, like, what's the specific stuff they would look up?
So our main channel would be YouTube. That's just Provost Park Pass, and then our Instagram is also Provost Park Pass, and then our Twitter is Provost Park Pass.
And our Facebook.
And our Facebook is also Provost Park Pass. So it's pretty easy to find.
And our Patreon, you can find.
Yeah, our Patreon is Provost Park Pass. I will say that we have a fantastic Patreon community, and so every Sunday night we do a Q&A with our Patreon members. They can ask us any questions they want, and we'll answer them. And we get questions for everything. And that's just a lot of fun, and it's a good way to kind of build community. So if you get bored and want to do that, come on over. It's only $3 a month.
Yes,
that's true. But we have a lot of fun on all of our platforms. But I just want to say thank you so much for having us on today, because this was so much fun. We had so much fun.
Thank you so much. You're a fantastic host.
Oh my gosh, I really appreciate it. I was like, this is one of those things where, again, through this medium that's so cool called the internet, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna we'll see. I'm just gonna kind of throw it out there a few times, and it's a lot of squeaky wheel gets the grease. So I was just like, you know what? Let's just see. And I was like, these people, they seem like my people, you know.
We're so glad that you did. We're so glad that you did. We get lots of emails sometimes, so it takes a while sometimes to get through all the emails. So we're glad that you reached out to us.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor and a real pleasure, because like it's just reinforced my affinity towards you guys, especially talking about these other movies and stuff. I'm just like, awesome. Yep, they get me and I get them. It's just so good. So again, everybody, please, thank you so much for being here with us today. To you guys, the last time, thank you. I'll probably say it a few times before I even hang up with you. But please check out Provost Park Pass on YouTube.
Thank you.
If I had to recommend one video, I would say I don't even know where you'd start with you guys, but start with the Secrets Revealed probably on some of those things.
Maybe Haunted Mansion.
I think the Haunted Mansion Secrets Revealed is a good one. That one, or the Pressed Pennies. Yeah. Those are really popular.
Yeah.
Maybe the Haunted Mansion Secrets Revealed, because we did so much research. We had the cast members helped us out so much, and there's a lot of good content there.
Yeah, that was one of our hardest videos. The video that was the most difficult to make, the longest to make. And so I would say that one. Well, that's one of my favorite videos. And everyone loves Haunted Mansion. We all know what it is. We all love it. So start out with Haunted Mansion Secrets Revealed on our channel.
Yeah, start there and then just get into Phantom Manor and just wait for that Chris plot dump. It's just so good. It's just like I want to listen to that while I'm on the ride, and it just plays at the segments that I'm at, and it's just like 3 seconds, and I'm like, all right, yep. And then it just starts up again. All right, yep. Yeah, it's so good. Well, again, thank you guys. Awesome. Thank you to everybody who watched. And sorry, Chris, were you gonna say something?
No, I was say thank you so much.
Oh, of course. No, thank you guys. It's a real pleasure. And to everybody who's listening, thank you. And until next time, just remember to adapt and overcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.